Alrighty, so season 6 is now a week old. We are getting to the point where the honeymoon phase is a little bit over. So I think it's time to trigger some people again because, as you can see here, we have video footage in the background to back up my opinion with facts, with testing on something that I'm very passionate about. I know some people will then go in the comments already and say, oh no, this guy is crying again, and so on and so forth, as they did with the Coil video, which thank you so much, by the way, for the overall well reception of the Coil video. When I discussed him, like, when was it, like a few weeks ago? I did not do many opinionated videos for a very long time because I always thought, oh yeah, it's just gonna be more food for the crybabies. But thank you so much for your overall positive feedback. That means a lot to me. But yeah, season 6 came out and the Kress are more in the focus again. Overall, I haven't really made an opinion video on it because I don't really do update reviews anymore. But overall, season 6 has been largely a success. Most of the downsides come from not really invasion changes at all. If anything, it got worse from imposter. Also, the tutorial apocalypse is pretty annoying. But besides that, like, the new scavenger event is amazing. The new trials are very, very good. Especially Silence the Idol impressed me a lot. However, with that trial, Silence the Idol, since it's a Kress trial, it was very important to look at where the Kress stand, because the Kress, as you know, had a pretty rough release. They used to be absolute abysmal dog shit. There was stuff like poison couldn't down you, they used to be slower than they are now, and so on and so forth. They were pathetic. And back then I made a video on it, and yeah, I already talked about the whole crybaby thing, but there were people like calling me delusional back then. Other people agreed with me. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I want to look at the state of the Kress again after now. How many is it now? Give or take 9 months. Because we have to talk a little bit about them. Because Silence the Idol obviously came out, and people very soon realized that the Kress has been underutilized horribly again because they're in the dark at all times. And so overall, it feels very vindicating that people go ahead and are like, oh yeah, the Kress are kind of badly placed, yada yada yada. However, I want to go a step further than that because I don't think the dark thing is the only thing holding the Kress back, and this is where this background footage comes in. So I just want to let this run and talk a little bit about it while we're running this. So for starters, this is on Downtown on Pleasure the Prosecutor, an open, fully lit on map. We are in Chinatown for reference because I want to test some chase potential with the Kress twins now. Obviously we have the Kress variator because they're normally not in Downtown, which, speaking about that variator in a second again, but psychosurgery as well. So there are normal, basic max movement speed that they have, as well as max damage. The only way to increase these two would be DPA, but in my opinion, Deadly Prime Asset is more of a special case and shouldn't be how a Prime Asset should be balanced. Again, I will talk about this in a second, but I just want to give you context of why we are here in Sentence the Neighborhood, which is a randomized name. Again, it's called, as you can see, Kress Chase Test. And again, I will start this and then talk as we go a little bit. So yeah, for reference, also behind me is like the Blue Lagoon, which in this case is the capture zone. I've done nothing on this map. I've literally waited until it spawned and, you know, initiated my tests. Hold on. Alright, first and foremost, he's auto farming. Lots of people do that. Like, Pitcher does it too, so whatever, right? I'm just waiting here to initiate and maybe get a poison wild throw, right? Like, right from the get-go. She also hits me, and you can't see it by my cam, but it says the poison tutorial day. The shot actually did connect. So I will do a really dumb thing here, okay? I'm gonna go a straight ass line. This is also a reason why decided to choose this because, as you can see, you have a little bit of a street, so you can play very dumb and just hold in a straight line, where normally the Kress are supposed to punish you, similar to how Franco punishes you, right? If you walk in a straight line against Franco, he's just gonna shoot you, right? And the Kress in concept should do this, like they should do a similar thing, right? They poison you and you're gonna throw up, they catch up to you and they hit you, right? That is the whole concept and the idea behind the poison vials. But let's see what happens. Again, you see them on my trail, more or less. They're losing like distance, but that's normal because, you know, you are faster than enemies, period. That's the same as like DPA. The only exception was with early access coil back in the day, but besides that, that is like normal thing. But yeah, I'm just running into a straight line, into a corner. I'm gonna throw up in a corner. I'm backed in a corner. He tries to attack me. I jump to the side and he missed. Let's look again from where the poison thing connected again. I'm sorry if I'm restarting this already again, but I need you to realize from when the poison hit even connected. Like, how much was that, distance-wise? This was pretty close already. We are already talking lunge range, right? And I just went a straight line to escape this, which is pretty fucking dumb. Like, that's low elo bot gameplay, what I'm doing right here. Again, I'm just holding a straight line. As you can see, I'm looking back here, and actually, you probably can't even see. Hold on. Like you can see them there behind the thingy tutorial, right? You saw them behind there. I'm making a bunch of distance, and then I'm throwing up. And they're trying to swing for me. But it's already enough so I can jump out of the way and, you know, avoid the hit. Which, speaking of damage, I'm gonna talk about 3 bars versus 2 bars in a second. But I wanna note this on the side. This is not really important for psychosurgery and high escalation. But notice how this only did half a bar. Because for some reason, Aurora's vials do only like their damage is dependent on the trap variator, which, as you saw at the beginning, we don't have any trap variators, we just have psychosurgery. So this is not really important, but if you play Invasion or like you play some brutal customs that don't rely on trap variators, then she will always do half a bar, which is obviously a big deal, because if I now get distance, which, small spoiler, I can just regenerate my health in this case, and, you know, the entire attack that they did was completely pointless, besides, you know, negative mark on my grade, obviously. Now, again, this is not really that important with, like, psychosurgery and high escalation, because, for example, high escalation with Ultra 2 has more and Deadly Traps 2 base kit, which means it would do a full bar, and then an attack would have an actual impact even if the hit doesn't connect. But it's still worth pointing out here. So I don't know if that's like good, if it should stay, or if that should change and the damages should actually be dependent on psychosurgery, increased threat to ultra, that kind of stuff, with like the actual enemy damage. Again, I'm yapping for a minute on this. Like, it's that bad. My yapping is like through the roof right now. But let's continue. They're gonna recover, obviously. Every enemy has a recovery animation. That's completely normal. But let's see what happens next. I'm just gonna run again on a loop, okay? This is the most DBD gameplay you will see for a bit, okay? Just go. I even hold the loop void. I didn't even run this optimally. Like, I look back at them around the car, right? I even slowed down here. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Straight line, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, straight line, keep going, keep going, Keep going. I know you're probably already sick of me saying keep going, right? But I hope you understand the point, because please tell me, what did the Kress not do in this scenario? Which they easily should have and could have. Throwing a fucking poison vial. Franco would have shot me and deleted me 5 to 6 times over. Again, I want you to realize, yeah, I'm looping around this, but for the most part, I'm running in a straight fucking line like a fucking bot away from these guys. Literally. And they don't care about using their ability whatsoever, right? Whatsoever. Then we're gonna keep going. And it should be around now. Like, I'm exhausted right now, right? This would be... Oh my god, this is bad. I'm gonna vault the car now. Like, they're still going around, right? They're still going around. Catching up slowly. I'm vaulting the car. You heard that? They finally threw a vial again at the fucking car. Very delayed. If the accuracy was better, they could have punished me and actually threw that at me mid-vault. But as you can see, like, they threw one at the very beginning, right? Like around now, 8 seconds. Now we are like... That was like 1 minute later, more or less. 1 minute more or less. And they finally threw another vial again. Finally threw another vial again. What I'm trying to say with this example is... It's getting a little bit better the further down the footage we go, but we still have situations like these, where Aurora's literally fucking AFK, and there's no reason not to. I am not asking or saying, oh yeah, the Kress should constantly have rapid fire, like, Franco, but expecting their projectile weapon to be similar to Pitcher, I think is not too much to ask. Where, you know, Pitcher throws it from... lights it up, maybe has like a little bit of a cooldown, right? And then boom. You could even argue, yeah, for the Kress it should be maybe be a little bit longer, sure. But it shouldn't be as egregious as this. There shouldn't be scenarios like this. Which, again, I want you to remind you, I played this like a fucking low elo bot. I was just looping around like a fucking DBD player. I didn't even loop that first car tightly when I first got here. And I went into a straight line. If they wanted to throw it at me, they could have easily done so. And I went in a straight fucking line. So, they would have easily hit that. Or would they have? I'm gonna come to that in a second again. But let's keep going. We're gonna keep going with this. On watch it for a bit. I didn't even run a straight line there. I kind of went for like the washing machine thing. Like, again, he's here. I'm sorry, by the way, if the cam completely fucks everything, but you should still be able to see what the hell they are. Again, they don't even see the opportunity. Even if it missed, okay? Even if it missed, which it's a projectile weapon. If I turn around the car there, it could have easily missed by them throwing like that, right? Even if it missed, at least they tried. Which right there they didn't. Right there they didn't. Okay, they keep going. Is this the time now where I mix it up? No, I still keep going, okay? Again, they don't throw because they don't care. I also even stop at the car so they can even catch up to me. It's like the other thing. Now I'm about to run out of stamina. I think now I go over there, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm going over there. They slowly come. She does the exact same thing. Now that was a little bit more accurate, but I think she threw that from there. That was honestly just a bad aim mistake. Like, that was, okay, unlucky, happens, right? By the way, this feels like I'm fucking coaching them, which is so fucking wrong. But, Yeah, I'm going around this corner. I even waited here, okay? I'm going there. Around the corner. Where did they go? That is right, because of the stupid ass variator they are about to leave. Which I just wanna say this right now. This has a little bit to do with the Kress, but that's like every single variator. Why the fuck do we still have pusher times? Like, pusher stays for so short, and for some reason they did the exact same thing to every prime asset variator in prime time. Like, why can't they have it so they stay as long as pitcher? Like, pitcher is honestly perfect. It feels like he actually has an impact in staying for a while. Like, they are about to leave. I need to run to them in order to catch their attention again. There we go. Yeah, also, as you can see, the hand movement, she's gonna do a reaction shot. Or not. There's it. There's it, right? Like, I stood still for a second. Now I think it gets me again, right? Yeah, now it got me. Like, you saw the hand movement right there. Again, keep in mind the distance, right? I'm gonna even hide my camera again. This is the distance between the impact, right? They're right there, okay? So, I would say maybe medium range on this one. Like, not completely close range, but like medium range. Now the impact happens, right? Again, I'm gonna run into a straight line here now. See them behind me? I didn't even jump there. I just hold shift, and the moment I can run again, I ran. And they literally missed somehow. They literally missed somehow. I think you already know where this is going, but I'm gonna keep going, okay? Again, we're doing the same old shit. Again, I'm about to run out of stamina, so this should realistically be bad for me, but I'm about to do the same shit again. She tries again. And again, this is again a really good example. Like, they were here, right? There should have been no reason for her to miss me here. Like, on like the impact, it should have been here, but for some reason she hits this. Hold on, I hit my cam again. Should I just leave my cam off for this? I think I should just leave my cam off for this. I'm sorry, unscripted video. I'm planning like over the course of this, but yeah. They're still standing like right here, and yeah. I'm just gonna keep going like this. Gonna wait it, and for funsies I vaulted it. This time they didn't do it. Oh, they hit me. Now this is a far shot, okay? Admittedly, this one is a far shot, okay? This is not close range at all, right? Oh my god, I couldn't pause it again in time. Hold on. Bro, I can't pause it in time, I suck. Fuck, I can't pause it in time. Like right here, okay? This is already like long range, right? Let's see what I can do about this. Which again, mind you, on long range you can just dodge the vial, right? It is a projector, and that is like the counterplay you are supposed to do against the vial, right? Not surprising, but because they had like quite a distance, it didn't do jack shit. And again, because of the half bar damage I can regenerate from this. Mind you, she threw again to like the Blue Lagoon at this point. Again, we're gonna keep going, okay, Otto? We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. For some reason here, they stood still. And then threw a vial. Like there. I step dodged. This could have probably hit me if I didn't step dodge, by the way. Like I went a little bit to the start, like to the side. But they just stood still there, mind you. Like, I'm standing here, I'm going a little bit to the side. This probably could have hit me if I didn't. Again, this is part of the counterplay, right? Which again, later when we talk about 3 bars, I'm gonna elaborate on that again. You missed only once, I disagree. We're gonna go over the car again. We're gonna loop again. Loop around again. Again, did you... They stood still again to hit me. Now this one hit me. If I probably stepped to the left, this probably could have missed me again. This time I fucked up the dodge. This time I fucked up the dodge, right? But again, they also stood still for some reason over there. Gonna go in the car. I'm gonna jump. This was even a baby jump, and they fucking missed the swing. She also swung out again there. I heard the glass noise, the vial noise. Was ambitious, could be excused. I think this is the potion where I just stayed around the car for a little bit to see what happens. But like any DVD killer, they struggle around loops right now. And again, this could be collision hitbox, mind you. They again stood still for some reason. There was the poison vial. This again, because it's a far range shot, this again is the counterplay. I stepped to the right, otherwise it probably would have hit me, right? And now they lost me, because I went too fast around the corner and they were there. They fucking lost me. So I need to go back to them in order for them to initiate chase again, somehow. There she does a reaction shot, I just go on the side. Mind you, it somehow hit the cart, I don't know why. Again, they're very far away. Now one stepped on that laser, by the way. Again, they threw, right? And they also hit, as you can hear. But you see that? They also stood still for some reason again. Again, I'm even gonna stand still a little bit. Again, I don't even know if they went for a swing there, or if that was even too short for the launch animation. But she also fucking yeeted another vial for some reason. Gonna go again. I'm sorry, by the way, if, like, I already looked at OBS and that shit is like for 23 minutes, but I wanna prove a fucking point here, okay? I wanna prove a fucking point, because someone's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're just blabbling nonsense and crybaby and whatnot without doing any fucking tests. Like, I wanna show so I can make the arguments later for, like, the proposed buffs and whatnot, okay? And this is, again, you saw that, this was, again, a really, really egregious thing. Stuff like this has been there since their release, by the way. When I first tested this, yes, tested it. and like talked about. Like for some reason you went for the swing, which is interesting, but also you see how the valve yeets to the subway for some reason. I'm in a straight line, by the way. This should not be a thing. Like, this is absolutely egregious. There's a difference between, oh yeah, the car maybe has like a bad hitbox. Oh yeah, maybe that was like slightly off aim, right? And this. There is a difference between that. Tell me, what is this? Tell me, what is this? I wasn't even close to these ones. If I was close behind these ones, I would have understand that shot. But what is this? What is this? Like, maybe if this arc was like there, like this, and maybe then it missed me. Okay, right? But I'm gonna keep going. Gonna keep again, there is a billion opportunities here for Aurora to yeet a while. Not only because we've been looping around these stupid cars for like 7 minutes now, Wesker reference, right? But also because I'm running in a straight line. I'm literally doing bot gameplay right now. And again, I will elaborate on this later again when we discuss it further after like looking at this gameplay footage. But this is the high difficulty Kress right here. The only way to make them stronger or more lethal or whatever would be if you had DPA in a custom or in escalation. Other than that, this is the Kress you have in like Genesis psychosurgery trials, in like custom psychosurgery trials if you have the Kress variator, or your average escalation trial with them, you know, if you have them in prime time. As long as you don't have DPA, this is what you are getting. This right here is what you're getting in the best environment with, you know, in the light, against someone who plays dog shit like this. I don't even try to really look at the vials and like dodge them, which in my opinion should be encouraged and should be the counterplay for the Kress twins, because it is a projectile weapon. Unlike Franco, you can dodge the vials, and you should be encouraged to dodge the vials on higher difficulty in this. Obviously, we're not talking about, oh yeah, on standard, if you're getting like heated with poison and then take like 1 or above damage, that's fine, that's standard, right? But we're talking about high difficulty, high gameplay, whatever, right? This is the package you're getting. They're like very excited for the fact that they're not using their abilities. Again, I'm about to run out of stamina again. He just said it's not your fault, and that's a miss voice line, so we have to assume that maybe she missed one again there. Not sure about that one though. Again, they threw it from Narnia, they stood still, I stepped to the side. I think this would have maybe missed me either way, but again, I reacted to that and stepped aside, and again, they stood still for some reason. And again, I want to make this clear again, because someone's gonna be like, oh yeah, but technically this environment is bad because it's open and not close quarters. I'm not zigzagging. I'm not, you know, doing this and that, like abusing the entire area, right? Whenever the Kress are behind me, I'm literally beelining it as if it was a corridor, right? Again, the AI just completely struggles here, unfortunately. Again, not even in an attempt. Even if some hit the car now or like missed or whatever, not even an attempt. Franco would have tried to at least shoot me. And if I like dodge quote unquote his shots correctly and make him miss on the car, that is very much possible, right? But at least Franco would have tried here. There you go, that was a first try again, and indeed, that's completely fine, honestly. Loop over. There they tried again. Again, very delayed reaction. It's so cute how they pep each other up after sucking so much, but for some reason they went for a swung there. This might have been just normal AI things. I tried to bait a hit there, but they didn't even react to that at all. Like, you know, bait a hit, because sometimes when they bait a hit, they also throw a while, and that would have hit me dead center, hopefully. But they didn't even react to that. Okay, Walt, I'm exhausted now, right? Again. They somehow hit the car. I don't even know how. Maybe the wild hitboxes are truly that bad. That he gets stuck on the environment all the time. Again, we're just doing bot gameplay right now. Again, I don't even know what happens now. Again, it's like 1 minute left. I'm just gonna let it run. There, they tried to hit again, but they also stood still again. This one, I mean, to be fair, arguably I was technically behind this mannequin, so they tried to yeet it over, but it made it like to the mannequin. But again, if you saw that correctly, they stood still again for a little bit. And for some reason they stood still over there. They screw again for some reason. They now just standing there as in giving up. There we go, we're back in chase again. Okay, now they got me again, finally. And there we go. After 10 minutes, in a peculiar situation where I just stood around the car and didn't even bother to fully run away, they finally got me, chat. And you know, the rest of the footage is basically like, I let him kill me. Maybe I can see like a cool execution, right? Maybe like they can do some cool thing. Which, by the way, that hit cooldown is, by the way, also very insane. But yeah, let's talk about it a little bit more, okay? What did we learn from this? Our aim is still fucking horrible, and her commitment to aiming is also trash dog shit. But most importantly, both the movement speed and the damage the Basso should do should go up. I cannot, like, I don't see a single argument, especially after going to this test again and going through like the footage now very slowly, mind you. I know this video is already half an hour in. I don't fucking care. I do not fucking care. I want to make this like the Kress video where I like talk extensively and show extensively the fucking problems, right? I don't see a world where 2 bars is still justified. I don't see a world where that is justified, especially with that gameplay right now. Like, I don't know why they don't throw the vials and, have such a big cooldown seemingly, and they just don't do it. And most importantly, when they finally got me at the end, at like the 10-minute mark, it didn't even fucking matter. Like, let's pretend this was actually psychosurgery, then it would have been 3 bars total, right? This was 2.5 bars because of the poison vial thing I explained earlier with like the missing more and deadly traps too. But yeah, besides that, this would have been 3 bars. You would still be alive and could still run away after 10 fucking minutes of, again, playing like a fucking bot. This was not excellent startup gameplay whatsoever. Let me talk before I elaborate on like the 3 bars and the movement speed increase. Let me elaborate on the actual counterplay, what you're supposed to do against them in an ideal world where they actually have impact, or what I could have done there in the first place. For starters, antidotes and heal, like, are items that you can easily do to relieve of your poison thing, right? When they buffed the Kress for the first time, they added this as counterplay. You can easily have that in like a Kress trial, or when they're spawning in, you can easily have that in your inventory. I find that level of counterplay also pretty cool because it encourages you to look out for these things and also like stuff your inventory with like an antidote, whereas normally you would just have a billion projectiles, right? And I like this level of counterplay, right? What else can you do? Obviously dodge the fucking vial. Just like Pitcher, it is a projectile weapon. It is not like Franco where it's hit scan. Franco has this thing with hit scan that when he shoots and you are on a slide of sight, you are getting damaged no matter what. That is why Franco is so fucking strong in the first place. Both Pitcher and Kress have projectile weapons, which means they have travel time. So you can dodge the hit. You can look at the arc of this arm, or like the other arm too, like both of the arms can shoot, and see, okay, whoop, the vials flying, and especially when they are far enough away, you can like step to the side with like a jump, or like just walk to the side. I even did this like in this footage a little bit, otherwise I didn't, and fuck it up, because I'm gonna be completely honest, I never practiced that because I never needed to practice that. But there's also the counterplay right there to just avoid the vomit thing altogether, right? Because, you can dodge it. And unlike Pitcher, it doesn't really have an impact radius. If Pitcher misses, it still creates a little bit of fire, AoE, right? So you still need to be careful, even if he doesn't accurately hit. Aurora, for the most part, needs to accurately hit in order for the vial to have any sort of impact, like for the vomit 2 stage. So it's even easier to dodge than something like Pitcher, right? Now, when you're about to throw up, what can you do? You can go around corners. Like, you saw that where they got lost a little bit around the corners, right? You can go around corners like that. You can go into the dark like that. And you can also use doors. Like, for example, let me, like, look at, this area, for example. And you will have lots of opportunities in your average trial environment, right? If the Kress were, let's say, where the guy was, and I was getting hit with the vomit, I could have used the 5 seconds until I throw up to go to the subway and, for example, go to the left. Many people don't know that, but there are lockers there and like a side room. I would hit a few corners, and the AI is a little bit slower around corners. Probably throw up, and they probably would have taken a while to catch up there and get away with that. I could have gone into the Blue Lagoon right there, which is in darkness, and as we already established, when people talk about the Kress weakness with the 360 vision, with like it in the darkness, they would probably not find you vomiting, because it doesn't really make noise if you vomit, if you just play your positioning smart. Especially if they go in there and it's completely dark and they don't hear anything, they're probably gonna stay around the door anyways, whereas you can silently crouch jump and hop into the darkness and then throw up. far enough away from them. Other thing, you could commit if you're more over here for this door over there. Like there, since we have Blue Lagoon as the capture zone, this obviously was a door, right? And especially if you have doors like these, what you can do is go to these doors when you're getting chased in a straight line, when you're about to throw up, kick them in, bam, lock them, and while the Kress are breaking the door, which they obviously have an animation for it, because they take 2 bars to 2 bars. Yeah, they have 2 bars, but they need 2 kicks to hit in the door. You can throw up and then keep going. And you can also apply this for like different scenarios. Like as you can see, there's multiple layers of counterplay to the potential one shot if they had 3 bars. And that is why I think it is absurd when people try to argue with me that I'm fucking lobotomized if I just want to have everything be as brutal as possible by like asking for them to do 3 bars like every other prime asset. Like literally in all these scenarios, like if they are hypothetically faster, what would this do? It would deny the bot gameplay, and if they actually threw the vials, which they should probably look at the throw rate of the vials, then you would have to look at these counterplay options, right? Again, antidote, cutting around corners, using door locks, going into dark areas, you know? And if you don't have any of this available, I'm sorry, you just got outplayed. I'm sorry if I say it so bluntly, but if you are running around without a plan against these, in case you're getting hit with the vomit, you deserve to be punished. And especially if you have like a bot gameplay going like I had right now, where I just go into a straight line, and you know, you're getting hit with a wild straight shot, you should get punished. Again, I'm talking about higher difficulty. Again, I'm not talking about standard or like intense. I'm talking about psychosurgery ultra, like these difficulties. Oh yeah, but Kotz, let's talk about DPA, because you're right, with DPA some of this stuff would be fixed, right? They are way faster with DPA, which is, you know, for every prime asset, because that's a passive of deadly prime asset. Not only do they 4 bars of damage, but also, yeah, way faster. But also DPA would fix their 2-bar problem, right? Whenever you're getting caught and like vomited and they catch up to you, which they can better with DPA, because they're faster, and they hit you, you're just dead, right? So you would say, okay, then just run DPA then. But you shouldn't have to rely on a variator like this that is not guaranteed to be an escalation or like part of psychosurgery in order to make these guys viable. Like, let's look for a second at all the other prime assets and their DPA potential. Coil with DPA doesn't really change. I mean, it does change a bit because he's faster and obviously does the 4 bars. But in terms of character, Coil still sucks. Like, in terms of ability, like the weak disable thing is just not a good ability. As much as people in the comments try to gaslight me, it's not a good ability, right? Gooseberry. Let's look at Gooseberry. Gooseberry all of a sudden has a 5-bar one-shot because she has the bleeding as well. So even if you have a health booster, with DPA, she is enhanced. And obviously she's faster too, so that helps her as well, right? But she is enhanced. She is scary without healing items. She is scary on psychosurgery potentially, because if she catches you, you're on life support, right? And you're like about to fucking die. But DPA enhances her even further. But DPA isn't necessary on her to make her scary. Franco. Obviously, Franco is the strongest prime asset in the game right now because of his hit scan gun, right? So no debate, right? Like, Franco on his base kit wouldn't even need DPA, right? But DPA also enhances him even further. Not only is he faster, which, by the way, a little fun fact on the side, like people have like the values on the side, Franco out of all the prime assets moves the fastest with DPA for some weird reason. But his gun can do a max damage of 3 bars instead of 2 bars with DPA. Like if every single pellet of his shotgun hits. So the shotgun damage is also increased with DPA. Again, DPA is necessary on Franco. Franco is already scary enough with DPA, but DPA also enhances him. Let's look at Lilia. Lilia's pretty scary with with her. I'm sorry, I'm already talking way too much, but like with her like faking, especially if you don't have projectiles, you don't have any loadout or whatever, she can be very scary. She catches you off guard, but she does moderate damage, right? Still a pretty scary prime asset, especially with her relative unavoidable grab attacks. Like you can bait it around stairs and elevation, but for the most part, it is relatively unavoidable. So she's scary in her own right. But with DPA, she gets enhanced too. With DPA, she's for one obviously faster, like every other prime asset. But also her grabbing thing, especially if you don't have a counter to it, is an insta-kill. Or like it can be an insta-kill. It was a little bit weird last patch, and I haven't tested it since. But with DPA earlier, it can be like a straight up insta-kill out of the grab animations, which obviously is very fucking scary if you just get mannequined or hiding spot. If you have to like cross paths and you are like unaware and get caught off guard by that, that is obviously a big deal. Again, she is scary in her own right, but DPA enhances her. Now if you look at Kress, DPA kind of feels necessary to make them work, and that's my whole point. Like, they should look at the Kress's base kit. They should look at the Kress's base kit with the vials. Again, maybe the hitboxes are a little bit whack as well, but make it so the throw rate doesn't take 10 business days to like launch another one, because that is fucking stupid. But also make the movement speed faster and the 3 bars, so you are getting punished when you play poorly. You are getting punished when you play poorly on like the highest difficulty, and you know, if you're not playing like a bot. So you need to look at these options if you are getting caught, or in the first place learn how to dodge their vials, because again, it is a projectile weapon. It is very easily learnable. Like the whole thing about the Kress, if they had 3 bars and had increased movement speed, would still be that they would be quote unquote more fair than Franco, because you can have so many counterplay options with their ability in order to avoid it. But yeah, that was a long ass rant for their fucking ability, bro. But why did I talk about this even? Why did I even, like, we are like 45 minutes in already, and I haven't even talked about the 360-degree version, right? But why do I talk about this so extensively? Because this right here is the reality if they were deployed like this in idle. Like, there are all, I want to talk about the main trial utilization for both Kill the Politician and like Silence the Idle in a little bit, right? But people already made the argument, oh yeah, you could just light up floor 2 when the power things are on, for example, and then they would be way more impactful. But the reality of it is, as long as the poison ability and they only have 2 bars, etc., stays as it is, this is the reality what would happen. Not to mention that in the case of Silence the Idol, there are a lot of crowd shows upstairs too that they can't do anything about. So that is just kind of rough overall. But yeah. Also, some people, when the first time I made a Kress discussion video, tried to go for the argument. Obviously, there are the arguments with like lore, which the lore should complement the gameplay, not the other way around. All I needs to say about that. But also, they try to make the argument that the Kress are supposed to be a support prime asset, and the poison should have the most impact when you have like lots of enemies around, which, for one, I find it a very dumb argument, because a prime asset should be able to hold on its own. Like, I get that argument for stuff like Jäger, because Jäger's just spawning in, right? Jäger's just spawning in, and Jäger doesn't do a whole lot if not many enemies are around, but she becomes very scary if there are enemies around and other factors, and you have to juggle them, right? A prime asset should never be put on the same scale. A prime asset in their 1v1 capabilities or whatnot should stand on their own 2 feet. Or like, in this case, I guess 3 feet with that one, I guess. But you get what I mean, right? Not to mention that if you look where the Kress are utilized on both of the main trials, that fantasy of, oh yeah, they need to that ability is a support ability, so other grunts or whatever can finish you off. It doesn't even really work in the main trials. Yes, at the very beginning of Shopping Mall, right? In the very beginning, when they patrol like pizzeria side, yes, you can run into them and the giants or whoever you release from pulling out the fuses, right? But then in the department store, they're alone. There's no ground to support them. They're alone. And then on the finale, they're alone again. You can sometimes have it where there's a giant that goes up and down the escalator, maybe. But for the most part, they're alone. Again. On Silence the Idol, when you go upstairs. Not to mention that it's like pitch black. Like, let's ignore that it's pitch dark. Let's pretend it's like lit on, right? No one's supporting them. They're mostly patrolling the office side of upstairs. And the only other enemy that can really do something for them would be Night Hunter. But Night Hunter kind of stays on the other side of it. And then the only other part that the Kress are also active would be upstairs, 3rd floor, doing the cassette thing. Which there is a grunt, funnily enough, that could support them. But again, that grunt can also do jack shit in the dark as well. You just stealth around and it doesn't matter anyways. So the whole logic that the poison and the throw up is supposed to be more for support tool, that logic also just falls flat if you just look at not only how the prime assets are utilized with like, oh yeah, this is too dark for the 360 degree vision. It also falls flat with like the enemy distribution in general. If, let's say, the Kress were in Studio 3 downstairs with Studio Grunt together, okay, then you can maybe start making an argument, but that's just not reality. They're isolated for the most part upstairs. So yeah, it just doesn't matter. Like, that logic in itself is also flawed. And again, I'm making this whole point about the whole poison ability more than anything, because if you have the poison ability go as you saw in this footage, why the fuck does the 360 degree vision matter? Why does that matter? The 360 degree vision does not justify the 2 bars. Because if they see you, God forbid if they're in the light, obviously we haven't even talked about like the darkness in Silence the Idol, right? We haven't even talked about that, but if they see you with the 360 degree vision, but the poison ability performs this poorly, like, why does it matter that you're getting chased? You can turn some corners and they probably will lose you again. Or like, you could probably also greet some shit in their face and it doesn't even matter. Like, why does it matter that they have 360 degree vision, except for, oh yeah, I initiated chase points compared to other X-Pops and Prime assets, where they still get 0 value out of their abilities anyway, so why does it matter? So yeah, I hope I made it clear. And again, I want to apologize if this was a very, very large portion. Like, again, I'm looking at OBS and it's like 15 minutes. But I took my sweetest time with this chase test, showcasing and yapping about it, because I want to make this again clear and like showcase you the fucking issues, okay? Because again, I did test it the other time too when the Kress came out, but some people went at me and were like, oh yeah, do you even know what you're talking about? Do you have even any evidence? The Kress are completely fine the way they are. And they kept going and going and going like that. But yeah, I did do my homework. And you can see the results there. With me playing like dog shit. Again, I played like dog shit in this footage. In an ideal world where the Kress are a menace, they should have killed me 10 times over. Because this is not how you're supposed to play against the Kress. You should have to worry about the vial and, you know, having to dodge it, or if you are impacted on it, look at your options, whether it's the doors, whether it's the darkness, whether it's cutting corners. You should have to look at your options, but right now you don't. That being said though, I wanna like send this off though, but now also talking about the 360 degree vision as well, because obviously I talked about the poison ball for a while. And it is very true that the 360 degree vision is like completely undercooked and underutilized, especially on the MK challenges, like Investigate the Minotaur and Fabricate the Scandal. I don't want to really talk about these two. I want to more focus on the main trials, how to make the Kress a little bit better. But also silence the idol. And I want to take the last few minutes, hopefully, so the video hopefully doesn't get too much longer, talking a little bit about some ideas on how to make the 360-degree vision at least matter on the main trials a little bit more, okay? At least a little bit more. Now, Shopping Mall, I don't know if it will ever get updated. I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, they might. The wig reworks also came out of nowhere, so never say never, right? But Shopping Mall is already pretty open, is the problem, right? But there are some things you can easily improve to make the Kress a little bit better and, you know, more menacing, and most importantly, make the 360-degree version matter, and then therefore have them initiate more chases that ideally are buff chases with better poison usage, better movement speed, and 3 bars. And for that, I want to look at the department store first. Because this is, by the way, something from both Kill the Politician and Shopping Mall, that both of these, funnily enough, have mechanics where you power shit up. In Silence the Idol, it's the power boxes, right? But in Kill the Politician, it's also the fuses, if you look at it that way. Like, both of these have mechanics where you can play around with power and have, like, different levels of gameplay, right? And we have seen those already, mind you. Just look at Kill the Snitch. Kill the Snitch has this thing which I feel some people are forgetting about when they think about light design and power design, where if you do the generators in the basement actually lights up, and then you will have Cold Patrol way more aggressively the exit, which is great prime asset usage in its own right, because now it's lit up, right? And he's patrolling it. So what if the fuses on Shopping Mall also have a little bit more of depth, right? Have it so in the shortcut downstairs, which, you know, is between the pizzeria wing and the other wing on that one side, if you put the gate in, it also lights it up, right? And you can also apply this to the department store, which is very important. In a department store, at the very back are the heavyweight boxes, right? Which is normally what you want to go for. That's why you normally pick up another extra fuse, right? In order to go for the heavyweight boxes. What if putting that fuse in not only opens the gate, but also lights up the entire area? What this would do is make the whole hiding behind objects to counter the 360-degree vision way more important, but also gives you player agency. Because if you're getting chased and it's getting kind of rough, you can pull the fuse out again. Now you won't be able to get boxes out at that moment, but you can create darkness again, so the Kress might lose you easier, and you have more counterplay there. Again, it's like more player decision making, but you can apply this even more. And for that, I would improve the mass segment as well, which is pretty funny because people hate the mass segment because you have to kind of use your brain, which is... I'm gonna admit I also suck at the mass segment for some reason. I also have brain farts. But you can apply this even further with the mass segment, and, you know, even utilize the fuses even more during that segment. What if, in order to do a math valve, you need a fuse to open the gate? Opening that gate in order to unlock the math potion, in order to turn the valves, requires a fuse for once, and also lights up the hallway in the back. Now, why would this matter? For one, the grunts are there, obviously patrolling, so you're more vulnerable. And, you know, pulling in and out the fuse also makes noise. But also, you can make a thing where the prime asset, the Kress, are also active in the mass segment. And they're, like, spawning in, out between the unfinished math valves, right? Why would this be important? Because these math potions are in tight hallways. The Kress would probably patrol between the hallways and the stores that are adjacent to it, go into the store, go back out. patrol a little bit, and after a little bit they leave again maybe. But this would be a spot where the Kress would excel at, because again it is a tight hallway, but at the same time you can kind of force out of the hallway, but then they are also gonna chase you in the light because the shopping mall is also lit up outside, and then you might run into the giant that is patrolling, for example, on the right side, or the other grunts like Pizzeria Grunt on the other side that, is patrolling in between. It would just make the prime asset a lot more impactful in that segment, and I know that was probably planned because I think someone uploaded the cut voice lines from Shopping Mall, for example, for the Kress, and there were voice lines indicating that they were supposed to be in the mass segment, so it would perfectly make sense and realistic for that to return. But also, again, coming back to the fuse and the math potion, you can then have the same dynamic as in the department store. You can pull the fuse out if there are too many enemies and the Kress are on you. You can pull the fuse out. This would obviously turn it dark again, and create more safety, and you can back off a little bit and play it a little bit more safe. But obviously, at any given moment, you cannot do the math potion again. You need to fuse again to go access the math potion again, which again you need to light up the hallway again. Not to mention that obviously you need that extra fuse in the first place, which I should have talked about this before when I started talking about the math improvements. But then you would either need to get the department store fuse, which again, after getting the ticket, would expose you to the Kress one more time in order to get the fuse, which again, the entire area is lit up because the fuse is currently in the spot. Or you would need to do some extra exploration and pull out an extra spare fuse out of one of the remaining shops. I think it's 6 total, and you need 3 solo, duo, 4 trio, quad in order to enter the department store, so there would be an extra spot. But again, if you pull out another fuse, you spawn in another enemy that might overlap with another mass spawn, And again, there are just so many different dynamics you can do, not only to buff the Kress and Shopping Mall in their presence, right, but also play with the light darkness a little bit more. And similarly, you can then also look at Silence the Idol, right? I'm now mentioning in a very obvious example, right, with the power things, right, with the battery generator thingies, right? What if, once the segment starts, for one, the Kress don't spawn downstairs? For some reason, they spawn downstairs. That makes no fucking sense. Because they're gonna walk around a little bit, and they're gonna leave again, and then spawn upstairs during the segment how they're supposed to. Skip that step. They're, upstairs immediately. Period. But then also, looking at the power thing, right? There were already these ideas that, okay, if the power generators is on, that area gets lit up, for example. And if all the power generators at all, the whole second and third floor would be lit up, which would also benefit them in the final encounter, right? But what if you make this a little bit more interesting and have the light be periodically on and off, similar to Rebirth? And depending on how many power thingies you have on, the period between light and darkness becomes dimmer. The darkness potions of the rotation become shorter, and the light potion becomes longer. And once you have all the power thingies done, then the light is permanently on, for example. Then obviously you have this other thing where I would prefer if the Kress were then also patrolling Studio 3, which is kind of a no-brainer. You have Studio Grunt who's looking in, and then you have Kress who can also go to Studio 3, but not only Studio 3, to not make it as oppressive. What they would do probably patrol-wise would be similar to the big guy that spawns. So go through Studio 3, maybe stop at Studio 3, so you have to use cover, for example, but then also go in front and go back where the backstage areas, and there are a lot of rooms in the backstage area if you haven't noticed. There is even an instrument room, for example, that probably a lot of players don't even know about. There are a lot of places where if you think Kress patrolling Studio 3 is too oppressive, where you can also make the Kress patrol to give you a little bit extra downtime whenever they or Studio Grunt are not investigating Studio 3 at any given moment, right? But at the same time, make them a little bit more impactful, because this is the portion of the map where it's actually fully lit up, so they should be there. And then obviously, if you do the power rework, then the final encounter upstairs would be a lot more interesting, because not only do we have the Grunt there, but also you have the Kress there, who, you know, you need to worry about now, because it's not in pitch black darkness anymore. And then obviously that would be the kind of good thing after all, to have it where once you did the final tape, they despawn and respawn downstairs in Studio 4 to protect poor Eric. But yeah, that's about it. I've now talked extensively. I expected this to be like half an hour, but now we're at an hour. I'm very sorry if this video felt like a slog, but I felt I needed to let my undiagnosed neurodivergent thingies run its course about something that I'm very passionate about. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I have gotten way more passionate about the Kress. There used to be a time where I was like, oh yeah, I'm not really looking forward for Kress content because they were kind of boring and like weak and whatever, but personality wise, the whole setup, their trials, they start just really growing on me. So I really hope that Red Barrows gives them some more love and like makes them go to full heights. Again, this is not gonna be something like, oh yeah, they need to be in the next Franco. That's not even what I'm asking. All I'm asking for is that you have to respect them, which right now you don't. Right now you don't. And especially without DPA, they kind of are weaker than someone like Gooseberry, unironically, which should not be the case for a character that has this complex of a kid. Which, mind you, I haven't talked about this in this video. Like, there are some suggestions, like, oh yeah, they should maybe use the buzzsaw to permanently break open doors. Which could be all cute ideas, but at the same time, I would rather try them first to fix their current kit instead of adding kit bloat, because they have the 360-degree vision, the poison vial, and everything. If they add even more abilities on top of it, then it's kit bloat at some point, compared to some other enemies like Cole, who has like the rig disable ability, which doesn't even do anything. But yeah, that's it for me today though. Thank you so much for listening to me and like my opinionated, which again is fucking researched and is my opinion. This is not being a crybaby, unlike what some people want to talk about and gaslight themselves in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me again. I'm just very passionate about the Outlast trials, and also in this case the Kress twins. But yeah, thank you so much though, and have a good one everyone. Bye bye.